up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper, with Call Her Daddy.
Charlize Theron, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be meeting you.
The same here.
Cheers to It's Happy Hour.
Somewhere in the world.
Somewhere in the world, it's happy hour. We're cheersing. We've got a little vodka, and we're going to have a great conversation today. You're in your cozies.
Yeah, I apologize if I was supposed to get dressed up.
No. I'm usually in my cozies, and I have a meeting after this. I would usually be wearing exactly what you're wearing. So this is perfect.
You look great.
You look like me today, and I maybe look like you in another life. Okay, in doing research for this interview, I realized we have a couple things in common, and maybe we'll find out more today. But one of them being, we're notoriously known for saying the word fuck.
Yes.
That's
why I love your show. Why I love your show for many ways. I just love you're very authentic, and I love your use of the word because, if somebody uses it that much, it has to feel like it's coming from a real place, and yours feels very grounded.
I haven't heard you say it yet, but I know it's going to come out today. But I'm like, I've heard that you say it all the time.
Yeah.
I remember reading it said Hollywood Reporter profile said that you said fuck 154 times in 3 hours in an interview.
They'd have to fact check that. I don't think that's true. There's no way.
I was like, she's an icon.
Humanly possible.
Have you ever said it in a really inappropriate setting where people were like, Charlize, what the fuck are you doing?
Listen, I have definitely, I'm trying to think of how to say this without getting the right context around it. I swear in front of my kids because I feel like, I am a responsible mom, but I am who I am. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I also want to teach my kids that there are things for them to look forward to. They don't necessarily get to say that right now, but that's really fun because they're going to grow up and get to say what they want. And also just because sometimes it's hard to articulate exactly what fuck cannot replace. I just feel... And maybe that's because my vocabulary is just not very strong and English is a second language, but it's hard to sometimes really get that thing across, and you can special size it. You can custom it for your, whatever that fuck is that you need,
It's fucking amazing.
I do this really fun thing with my kids in the morning when we drive to school. They DJ, so I can't DJ at all. So they all take my phone and they'll just alternate with each other and play songs. And then they got a little older. They were it used to be the clean versions. And then it was like, Mom, can we play the dirty versions? And I was like, okay, just for this car ride. So in the mornings, this is now where I think they get a half hour of they play it. Every inappropriate song so incredibly loud that I lose my hearing, and we're driving for a half hour and they're screaming every single inappropriate word that they possibly can. And then I load and I can tell all that energy's out. They're going to have a great day at school. And then I put a podcast on and I probably listen to you. It's by 10 a.m. I've had a full life. It's a full day.
You're listening to WAP at 7 a.m. You're
100%.
100%. That's amazing. That's fun.
Great. It's great.
Call Her Daddy is brought to you by White Claw. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're way too hot to be spending the summer sitting inside scrolling on your phone. What are you doing? Stop letting plans die out in the group chat. Grab a White Claw and go make some memories, okay? Whether you're yapping poolside, hitting a barbecue, or just kicking back around a fire, a cold White Claw goes perfectly with your summer plans. That's right, Daddy Gang. It is White Claw summer. 100 calories in 12 glorious ounces, gluten-free, and the taste you know and love. I like to pick up a variety pack so that I can guarantee everyone can get their favorite flavors. I am personally through and through always a black cherry girl, but Matt loves the mango and Lauren's favorite is lime. So there's truly something for everyone. It's time to come out of hibernation and stop leaving everyone on red. We're finding a guy with a boat and we're having a damn drink. My friends and I strictly drank White Claw for an entire girls' trip last year, and now I can't even smell sunscreen without being reminded of that trip. It was honestly the best time ever. There is nothing better than warm sun, a tiny bikini, tiny bikini, and an ice cold claw in your hand. That is peak life. Pick up a pack from your favorite local spa and grab life by the claw with your favorite flavor this summer. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw seltzer works Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, let's go back to beginning days of your life. You grew up in a farm in South Africa.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was normal. You know, it's what I knew. It's all of my friends kind of grew up on these small farms. They weren't like these like out of Africa kind of farms. They were called small holdings. We ate off the land and lived off the land. My mom grew. She's growing stuff on our farm out in Ojai now. She's like just a natural farmer. Knows everything about fruits and vegetables. So we lived a farm life, but not as isolated as people would imagine a farm life to be.
And growing up, you went to a boarding school, right?
High school, yeah.
If I was to ask your classmates, like, what were you like in high school? What do you think they would say?
Oh, that'd be interesting. I think there was a side of me, you know, there was a lot of alcoholism in my family on both sides, and a lot of shame that I think kids in general have about a parent that might be an alcoholic. Because my dad was like very he'd show up in states that, you know, was just very inconsistent. And so I think my friends or people who knew me in school would say that there was a part of me that was very like closed off and not necessarily sharing the truth about who I was in my life. Like kind of, I think I created somewhat of an alter ego that came from like a happy house, and like my family were good, happy people. And I think the other side would probably be that I never really like fit in anywhere. It wasn't that I was unpopular. It was just that I almost like weirdly wanted. There were two girls that I very vividly remember in both my lower school and my high school. One was called Charlene in lower school, and the other one was called Marlise in my high school. They were both girls that I absolutely just admired. Like I just thought the world of them. And if you ask me today why, I actually couldn't answer that.
Do you think it was like their aura or their
Yes,
confidence?
I think it was their confidence, and that they were authentically, truthfully being who not only they are, but also living the truth of their circumstance at home. I think that was the thing that I really admired about them. Not that I don't think they dealt with the same issues that I don't think that a parent that was dealing with alcoholism, but I still have this with women who, like when they date, they're just like very open and honest. Like they don't try and hide anything. They'll say whatever they want. They're not walking on eggshells. And I think that's the part that kids in my school probably remember the most. But I think now looking back at it, I understand why I was that way better.
But don't you think when you look back to like why you admired those girls so much, what you're saying also is like being that young and like masking in situations is exhausting. Yeah. Like you wish you could just be out in the open, but family is family, where it is a reflection on you, even 100%. Though you're doing nothing wrong, that your family is dealing with 100%. This, but you still feel this almost like pride that you have to try to uphold something, because it's like currency in high school. Like, what is this person like, and what is their family from? And so you try to create this narrative, but that's exhausting. And then you walk in the door at home and you're like, well, this is fucking miserable. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's very exhausting. And it's crazy how we carry all of that weight. Like somehow it's us, like somehow their actions are reflective of us. And it's a crazy thing that I continued in other relationships in my life. And I think I admire women who are just like, that's that, like, that's not me. But that was exhausting for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it affected my life in a way that I think it took me a long time to be able to figure out. So when you ask me like, how do my friends or people who went to school with think of me? I think they think of me in a way that was not really authentic me. It was a put forth version of me.
In dealing with that in high school, then I know like we don't need to get into all the details today, but you experienced such trauma at such a young age. How do you think experiencing that ended up impacting you in your later life, not just in the like, oh, she's not as authentic, but then once the trauma really hit, like how did that impact you in the next couple decades of your life?
I think it was just, the first part of it was full denial because my mom didn't really have the tools to deal with that tragedy. But it was also just years and years of this consistent kind of like walking into a house or waking up in the morning and not knowing what I was walking into. It's like what a lot of people say about living with an alcoholic, right? You're kind of living at their whim, like whatever they're feeling that day or wherever they are, that's what is going to be the vibe and the energy of the house. And that inconsistency, I think, was what affected me way more than just that one night. And I think what happened was that there was such a focus placed on that one night when that tragedy happened. And it was very, very unfortunate. And I wish I could say it was only a one-time occasion. This is something that happens in homes across the world more often than we want to admit. But, you know, I think it took me like well into my late 30s to really be able to look at that and actually like shake off the weight that I felt like I carried for my father, for my mother. You know, I felt like even when I got famous, like I couldn't quite honestly speak about it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I felt like people were involved that didn't ask to be in the spotlight. But then I also got older and I was like, but this is also my truth. Like, this is where I come from. And I don't want to have shame about it anymore. You know, my dad was an alcoholic. He wasn't healthy. And my mom stepped up and protected me. And if that happened to me with my children today, I can tell you right now, I would do the same thing. It doesn't make it less unfortunate, but you know, again, I can't protect people all the way through. Like I have to also live my authentic self. So now it was a one night event in my life. I am still dealing with the everyday consistency of a lot of damage that I think I experienced as a young person, just in my every single day life.
I think that is so relatable in the sense that like if there is something catastrophic that happens that shakes a family or a relationship, that event feels very like palpable and people think of that event, but when you're living it, you're like, oh, it's kind of actually like not even where my head goes to when I actually think of all the trauma, because that was an instant. The rest of my life, my entire childhood was this thing of living with this alcoholic and learning how to placate or hide or defend and shield, and then go to school and pretend like this isn't ruining my entire life, and smiling and pretending I'm this like cute girl that is fine. Everything's fine. I know that you've talked about it, but you said later on in your life, you then got into therapy because you realized like, oh, this is really still affecting me. Was there something that made you realize like, holy fucking shit, I've got to get control of this?
So strangely, I went into therapy because of a relationship, a long-term relationship that I was in, and it was falling apart. And I think I touched lightly on, I was in relationships, in a sense, doing the same thing that I did at home, which is common, right? Walking on eggshells, trying to protect ego, protect embarrassment for a partner, you know, because of their behavior, and feeling like somehow that reflects bad on me. Like all of these things I was kind of repeating in my relationships. And I had a narcissistic boyfriend that said, you know, you're the problem. And not that I believed it, but I felt like I had invested a lot of time into this relationship. And I was like, well, maybe, you know, let me put my ego aside. Maybe I am. Maybe I should go. And there was always this kind of thing thrown in my face, like, because everybody knew about my life, like, oh, you must be this damaged woman, right? So I went actually to try and save this relationship. And what ended up happening was that I ended up saving myself. Yeah. So maybe in a weird way, I do owe this guy
like,
some gratitude.
Even though you were the narcissist?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, two things came out of it. The therapist was like, you should leave him. Yeah. And also, by the way, you're not the problem. Like other people have been the problem in your life, and you need to start admitting that.
I have gotten into therapy and it's changed my life too. And so I'm always such an advocate for it, but I know that everyone has to go at their own pace. So it's interesting to hear you be like, I actually went in for something that for sure was at the forefront of your life. And it was like an annoyance and painful. And you were like, I need to fix this. But really it's like, oh my God, girl, we have so many bigger problems than this like douchebag that kicked to the curb. And now let's focus on you.
Yeah.
Interesting. So once you got into therapy though, and you realized you needed to start working through a lot of this, did you struggle a lot with coming to terms with bringing back up trauma? Because I think a lot of people are like terrified to engage with it because for a long time, if you just leave it in the corner, you think like, I don't need to bring all that back up. I don't want to relive those days and memories. Was it hard for you?
Yeah, because I became an expert. I practiced avoidance, right, my entire life. And also I was the product of an environment where therapy didn't exist. In South Africa, I didn't know one person who was in therapy. I don't even think we had therapists. Now, I might be totally wrong, and some South African person feel like, first of all, okay, in my community, I never heard the word therapist. We also didn't have AA. Nobody was an alcoholic. You never used the word alcoholic. Like, this was just, I think I grew up in a culture where men were men and a real man drinks. And it was a very toxic culture. But therapy was just never something. And, you know, again, like I said, my mom didn't have the right tools. My mom... And my mom does not understand the concept around therapy. And I don't, listen, she shouldn't. She didn't have it in her life. She doesn't know what that is. And so when it happened, her kind of words of wisdom, like she sent me to school the next day. Like that tells you everything. My mom's like a survivor. My mom is like, you wake up the next day and you get up and you continue and nobody brings you down and and that's what she did to me. And I was 15 years old. So coming to therapy was not because I was avoiding it. It was just so foreign to me. And even I'm of a generation where I didn't even know a lot of friends that were in therapy. I think I knew like one friend that was in there. And it was this friend that I reached out to and said, could I meet with your therapist? Like, I didn't even know how to get a therapist. So it was all very foreign to me. So yeah, putting aside the behavior that I had learned for years, it was also just like, it wasn't in my, it wasn't, I wasn't surrounded by it in a way where it felt very natural or normal, or I had easy access to it.
As you've evolved and continued to peel layers back of like how your childhood impacted you as an adult, I think I've even dealt with this with friends where it's like, as you become more therapized, you look at your relationship obviously with your parents differently. And it sounds like you have such a beautiful relationship with your mother, but like, how have you navigated being someone in therapy and dealing with that trauma, whereas you have then someone in your family that's not? Because I feel like there's probably a lot of people listening that are like, wait, so how do you handle those moments where like, no, mom, remember? And she's like, shh, let's go out to the let's go out to the garden, honey. Like, I don't want to talk about that.
In my 30s, it became contentious. It became because I think I was finding my voice. And I also I feel very protective of my mom, because I think that, without context and people really knowing who she is, and that you can ask anybody who knows her, she is, trust me, I cannot tell you, I can't go on a hike, I can't walk through a store without somebody coming up to me like, oh my God, I love your mom. She's one of those people that she has a superpower. And her superpower is incredibly infectious, but it's also very, very damaged. But what therapy taught me was that she is who she is. And I'm not here to change her. And if she doesn't want to change herself, that's okay. And for our relationship, there's enough compromise there that it works, that it doesn't feel like I am compromising too much or she's compromising too much. And we know how to kind of like be copacetic with each other and live in a very loving way with each other without me going like, I cannot, like, you are so unhealthy. You have, like, I'm beyond that now, right? And she thinks the same thing about me. Like, she's like, okay, whatever, like you with your therapy. And that's what I love about her. She's authentic.
Beautiful.
She's very, very authentic. But yeah, it's interesting, not to, like, I don't want to put you on the spot, but that's what I loved about hearing about your story.
Yeah.
It's just so rare to talk to somebody in this kind of environment. I've never had that where your story really moved me, and I was actually excited to sit down with you.
Thank you.
Because sometimes I feel like, you know, you feel so kind of alone in sharing a story like that. Yours is obviously different, but to have trauma at that young age and what you experienced was really painful to listen to and to hear your family talk about.
It is. It's like such a strange thing when you get to connect with human beings, because you're right. Our stories are so different and yet
so similar.
So similar. Yeah. And there's so much pain and there's so much hiding who you really are. And I agree. Like when you were talking about the women or the girls in high school that you were like, I just was attracted to their aura. I had the same thing with so many women where I was like, I wish I could live free like that. I wish I could walk into a room and just be me and feel like I can just own it. And I'm, even if someone calls me out, I don't care. I can't get embarrassed. You can't embarrass me. And I didn't have that. So I think a lot of my career has been actually searching to find a way to get to that place, because I wanted it.
Do you think you're there?
I feel so much more at peace. Like even putting out the documentary, I feel another layer of peace, because I think that medium also is different. Like podcasting, I do this every Wednesday. Like it's a thing that my audience is used to, but putting something and a piece of work out in a different format, I think was really a good way to engage.
Therapeutic in a way?
Yeah.
Cathartic?
Like, yes, because like I kind of had hands off.
Yeah.
And a director was like, I'm going to tell your story. And I was like, please don't ruin my life. But like, I trust you.
But you almost had to not be in control of it, right? Which like here you're a little in control of it. But
it was kind of nice. And so I think that's how I also feel about therapy, where it's like, I'm learning. I'm uncomfortable what I'm learning about myself. I hate sometimes when I'm like, no, there's no way. My therapist was like, keep going. We're about to get under it. And you're like, no. Really? So I relate a lot to that. I also was thinking about your mom when you were just saying how your relationship dynamic, you are a single mother, and your mom essentially after the passing of your father became this single mother role.
It was a single mother prior to
that. Your whole life she's a single mother. How have you kind of found a way to appreciate each other even more and connect on a deeper level, becoming a mother and her watching you be a single mother also?
That's such a good question. I feel it feels familiar, right? But it also feels, God, you know, if there was a cautionary tale, it was definitely their relationship and how I didn't want that. And I think in many ways, maybe that did, I think it's not just one thing, right? It's very layered and complicated, but one of those layers of why I don't think I am in a relationship was just purely because I still not it's a combination of like, I don't want what they had, and then also being very honest with myself and understanding that I did not have the capability of being healthy in a relationship. And those two things I had to acknowledge when I decided to be a parent. And I think it's probably one of the healthiest decisions I ever made. I think people look at it so like in our society as this kind of something must be wrong with her, right? With women, it's always like something must be wrong with her. She can't keep a man. And it's never part of the discussion of like, wow, she's really living her truth. Like she's living in her happiness. Like this is actually a choice that she made. I like want to just like look at them and just be like, do you know how fucking great it is to live exactly how I want to live, to experience motherhood exactly how I wanted to experience it. And I know the next thing they say is like, well, that's not fair on your kids. Can I tell you something? That will be their story to tell. I can't tell you. I can only tell you that this is the best way that I know how to be a mother to them. And maybe they'll grow up and tell their story, and I will respect that. I just know that this was the only way that I knew I could do it. And my fucking God, do I love every single day of it. I love that I don't have to share them with somebody. I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I love that I don't have to, well, oh my God, co-parent. I fucking love that I don't have to do any of that stuff. And my children, we joke. Listen, I think you can tell, this is how I raise my kids.
Yeah.
Right? We don't hide this shit. They're like, oh my God, Mom, I can't go to Sarah's house because her father. And I was like, oh my God, aren't you guys so happy we don't have to deal with that? And they're like, oh my God, Mom.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So this was how I wanted to be. I don't even know if I'm answering your question. I'm so sorry.
No. This helps because it's like you broke this cycle,
yes,
essentially.
I broke the cycle. I am raising, it looks from afar like I'm doing what I know, which is being a single mom, because I was raised by pretty much a single mom. But I think I'm raising my kids as a single mom because of definitely avoidance of things that I know I don't want. And also understanding who I am fully and being honest with who I am and what I can give right now. And who I am is, at the time that I wanted to be a parent, was not somebody who should be having kids with another person.
I think that is the most mature, self-aware thing that anyone could ever fucking do.
With kids, you have to be that honest because it's a child's life. You have to.
And you, again, sitting here being like, I've lived what a single mom looks like who's not actually single, but
we're happy about it.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's like the autonomy you've given yourself to find your happiness and give your kids a different life and a different meaning to what a single mom is.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's thank you.
Yes,
thank you for recognizing that. I also love that I don't know what the future is going to hold, right? That's the other thing. It's like, this is like this moment and this time in my life now. And I mean, I'll be honest, I have tried dating and I can tell that no man's moving into our house while my daughters are there. That's not, and by the way, I don't think I can do it. I literally can't imagine a man moving into our house and me sharing my closet, or I don't see that happening.
Right.
But then I imagine being an empty nester and how that part of my life will be. And by then feeling like maybe I will feel like I want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
There's this notion that somebody like me must be missing out on something, and that people feel sorry for you somehow, that you're missing out on love.
And you're like, wait, guys, I'm telling you I'm good. And they're like, no.
It's the thing that you don't quite realize until you have kids. And I'm not saying that it replaces one love with the other, but it is such a tremendous love that I do not miss love. I might miss sex.
Fair. That's fair. You're like, my vibrator is only doing so much.
Yeah, no, look, the vibrator is good. And I'm having the kind of sex I never had in my 20s or in my 30s.
Love.
Yes. And so that part has been really exciting. But I'm not missing a relationship. I'm not missing the partnership that I think people think you miss when you're me.
And it feels like what you're also saying is it's not that you're not open to it. You're just at a point in your life where you're really content and you're really happy.
That's it.
And I want to also point out, because I can only imagine now, even you just lightly explaining to me the judgment that comes with a woman in your position. And we know women in Hollywood who are single, and people are like, oh, what is actually fucking wrong with her?
Yeah, she must be a real bitch.
What
a cunt.
Truly. You fucking cunt. How crazy are you?
Yeah, how crazy are you?
Truly.
Yeah.
But how gorgeous to also hear you saying, everything you're saying makes me more wanting to put it back on other people who are so triggered of how many relationships do we know of these women in these households with these men who have lost their voice, who are not happy. It's not everyone, but being alone you have that control that a lot of people don't have in these certain relationships that they've lost themselves to. So I think it's commendable that you're like, I know myself enough. I'm going to stay right here until I want to change it. And then maybe I'll change it. But guess what? It's your decision.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I watch you with your husband and I'm like, God, that's so incredible. And why can't we just, as women, experience these two, have these two very different experiences and let that be okay?
Be completely okay.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought I was going to be someone that was going to get married.
You work with your husband.
And it works. And I'm like, well,
exactly.
And I get why people have opinions, but I'm like, but I'm happy.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, yeah, exactly. Everybody will always have a fucking, it's like an asshole. Like, we all have one. It's like, please. Yeah,
get out of here.
Yeah. At my age, I'm like, I honestly, there's like I can't make enough zero fucks. Like, I'm like,
I love that from you though. Immediately when you sat down, I was like, I fucking love you. Like this energy is what we need. The girls need this energy.
Good.
Okay, let's go back. 19 years old, your mom buys you a plane ticket to LA and is like, one way, you're going to become an actress, go. And you land. What the fuck was the plan?
Well, I think now you understand a little bit better that she was like, the next morning, she was like, you're going to school.
Right.
Right. So I was in New York. I was living in somebody's basement. I was there. I did not have, I think I overstayed on a tourist visa. So I was kind of in this no man's land of, I wasn't there legally. I couldn't really dance anymore. I wasn't happy with my life. I felt like my only other option was to go back to South Africa, a country that was in tremendous turmoil at the time, at the brink of civil war breaking out. And I had nothing really to go back to. I like, when I had to like think about how was I going to survive, I was like, am I really going to like take over my mom's construction company? Like I was willing to take, and also when you're young, you're fucking insane. You're so stupid, so naive. I was like, this sounds like the best idea ever. Yes, let's get a one-way ticket to this place called Hollywood. And I will get on this plane, mother, with this credit card that there's no money in there. I know, but you're trying to make me feel better about. And I know nobody, and I will get in a cab and I will go and find some motel to live in. Those were better options than getting on a plane and going back to South Africa for me at that time.
So you get there and like, how are you initially making ends meet before you get all
modeling? Yeah. So modeling was kind of my waitressing job.
Okay.
'Cause turns out nobody's really checking your visa. They every once in a while will get you an O1, but they don't really care. Or back then.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna take this out. Oh,
you got it.
I tore my interquartal muscles or whatever. Intercostal muscles.
By doing something?
Yeah, I did something stupid. But anyway.
Get cozy.
So I got here. I didn't know anybody, but modeling was always kind of an income for me.
When you started making money, what did you spend your first like big paycheck on? Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Tinder. Daddy Gang. You know that feeling of finding an amazing hole-in-the-wall restaurant when you're traveling to a foreign city? There is truly nothing better than having the best meal of your life surrounded by locals where nobody knows you're a tourist. Well, with Tinder's help, you can have more moments like that and get a true taste of the local life. Tinder's passport mode can be the best travel companion when you're looking for a local tour guide in any city in the world. Try Tinder Passport globally to connect locally during your travels or even before you start packing, all while making traveling to a new place feel easier. With Tinder's help, add more plans to your itinerary by matching with a local and setting a date to see the city through their eyes. Passport mode is also a great way to help immerse yourself deeper into the culture and have more authentic experiences while traveling. With Passport mode, there's so much to discover. Explore all of the possibilities for yourself. Tinder, it starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today. When you started making money, what did you spend your first like big paycheck on?
Well, I didn't make any money for a while. I was really like not even like paycheck to paycheck. I was like I was waiting for 2 paychecks to fill in. the first job as a model that I ever got that I remember going to the bank and cashing this check for $75,000. And I can tell you exactly what I wore that day. I can tell you exactly how I felt. I can tell you how I walked to my Ford Escort. It's so vivid in my mind because it was a moment of complete freedom. Like, it's so hard to explain, but I think women or having financial freedom is something that is so important. And when you don't have it, and then one day you feel like you have it, it's a feeling that you never forget.
You never forget, and you never want to go back.
No.
You're like, oh.
But I also, like, stupidly, I was like, well, I'm done. I'm set for life. Like, I was like,
I'm balling.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about that again, you know? But I didn't spend it on anything.
Nothing.
I was so scared of having to, like, go back to South Africa.
You start getting into Hollywood as a young woman. Like, what were your first impressions of Hollywood?
It was confusing, you know, because I didn't know what it was. So I was kind of like, you have to understand, where I was raised, we had television from 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock. Like, we had 3 hours of television, and then we had nothing. And my access to Hollywood was so limited. We had a magazine that would write about celebrities. That was really the only information that I ever got about celebrities. I watched movies and thought that it was like a job that your neighbor did. I didn't know they were celebrities. I thought that Tom Hanks was just some guy that had this job and he was an actor. That status thing didn't exist for me. So when I got here, it was crazy. I was like, oh shit, like, people are like celebrities here. So it was very strange for me. But again, I was just so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
I want to ask you about one of your early auditions that you had in the industry where a director asked you to go to his house for an audition late on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Can you just explain what happened when you got there?
Yeah. I didn't know what an audition or what the process really, what that looked like. An agency that I was working at as a model, I said, listen, I'm interested, so naively, didn't know how you went about being an actor. I said, if you hear of any auditions, I'd like to go. And they said, oh, we think there's a casting for this movie, and you have to go on Saturday night. And they gave me the address, and it was this director's house. And the little voice inside me definitely said, this isn't right. But then the other voice in me says, well, I don't know. Maybe it is right. But you know, that that voice that we don't listen to, that voice knew. That voice was like, this isn't right. And it wasn't right.
And as women, like, we're constantly in positions where we almost like we want to be like, no, I'm overreacting. Like, there's no way I'm going to get there and it's going to be weird. There's no way.
And even when it is weird, you're talking yourself out of, this isn't weird. Like, no, I'm taking this the wrong way. That's not what he's he's not. And by the way, this guy, he got a little nervous for a while there. I've never said his name because honestly, I don't want the story to be about him. You know, honestly, it's not because I'm protecting him or anything, but he got nervous for a little bit.
Why?
Because he heard me tell the story and he knew it was about him. And he wrote me a pretend letter trying to explain his behavior and how I must have misunderstood it, which is classic, isn't it? It's so classic.
No, Charlize.
Yeah.
He wrote you a letter?
Yeah, because I think he panicked. He started panicking.
Of course.
He was like waiting for me. And I just realized, like, I won't even fucking say your name because you know you're the scumbag. Like, you know it's you. And if anybody ever asked me about him, I would be completely honest. And he knows that. And I kind of like that he's got to be on a hot seat. He doesn't know when it's going to come. I kind of like that a little more.
I'm so sorry because, like, opened up in my documentary about this person in a position of power that abused their power and sexually harassed me and all the things. And coming forward about it, I had like such anxiety. And it's interesting because it's like, you're in a position of power now. You were so young in your career. From what I understand, was like a huge director.
Yeah, huge.
And the power imbalance being there in that room on a late Saturday night, what the fuck are you going to do? And most people would be like, well, why don't you just get up and leave and yell and go immediately report it? And it's like, it's so nuanced and complicated. Like, can you just explain, because I have so many women listening, like a little bit about in those moments now when you look back, how to not feel such shame and guilt for something that clearly was not your fault?
Yeah, it's so hard to even, it's like we can only share these experiences and we can talk about them enough so that hopefully it becomes normalized, that we hear it enough where women can just go like, okay, I've heard about this time. Like, while you're sitting in there, you can hopefully say like, okay, force yourself to do this thing the point that I'm trying to make is that we have to be careful, because it's very hard for people to understand why someone with a strong personality, someone who's outspoken, how someone like that can find themselves in a position where they won't say something. And that is the story that it's a classic story, right? It's very, very complicated. And even though I want younger generations of women to not do the same thing, I also understand if they do the same thing, because I drove up Laurel Canyon and I was so mad at myself. I remember like being furious with myself because I couldn't believe how I had let myself down. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Like, why the fuck would you allow that? Like, why? I still get those feelings, because it's like you know yourself so well, and there's something that really like kind of like breaks my heart to the core when people so in this very luxurious manner talk about, well, you know what, next time you should fucking say something. Like, don't wait 20 years, okay? This kind of like callous way of not wanting to believe. Like, that's really what it boils down to. It's instead of saying like, I don't believe you, it's like, well, don't be a fucking pussy. Like, maybe you shouldn't have been a pussy about it. And we all know what that feels like. It feels like no matter what they say, it can't hurt more than what you're telling yourself. Like, I beat myself up over that. I was like, you can say whatever that you want, motherfucker. Trust me, you can't hurt me more than I hurt myself about what happened that day.
I mean, even just listening to you say it, it brings up so much, I think, for every woman probably listening, because you're so right in those moments. I remember I was sitting, every time I talk about it, it makes me emotional, because when I was sitting on the stage at Tribeca, because that's where my documentary premiered, and I did a Q&A after, and I started talking about power imbalance and when someone does something to you and you're in this moment and you freeze or you fawn or whatever it be. And I'm looking at the audience, and there's like a couple hundred people in this audience, and I'm looking at all these women's faces, and multiple women have just like that look where I almost wanted to pause and be like,
I see you. Yeah.
How many women in this room? How many? And I'm not kidding you, Charlize. I literally think almost every fucking hand would have gone up. And it breaks my heart, because I'm like, holy shit, this is happening as we're sitting here. Some woman is experiencing this feeling. And I agree with you. I think for me, I relate a lot to what you're saying of being someone that's so outspoken. I do think a lot of people are like, there's no way that would happen to you. There's no way. And it's like, oh no, the minute you're in that room, you're not yourself. You are the smallest version of yourself. You don't even remember who you are. And the minute you walk out the door, you kind of start to remember. And that's when the shame hits you, because you're like, wait, how did I not just... I said it to my husband less than a year ago. I had an executive say some of the most insane shit to me. And I'm Alex Cooper. I'm me. I'm supposed... literally froze.
Yeah.
Froze.
Yeah.
So if it's happening to me now, and it happened to me back then when I didn't have a voice, there is no through line of this can't happen to her. It doesn't matter where the fuck you are on the totem pole of power and success as a woman. When those men get you in that position or there's a power imbalance, you're fucked.
Or in your case, a woman. I think that story isn't told enough.
Definitely not.
So I'm grateful and I really respect your choice in wanting to tell that story, because I think, just as I feel like when I meet men who have experienced this kind of power play, I think that we need to tell these stories so that we can understand that we're not alone. Like, that's the thing, right? And it's hard to tell them in a world where people don't want to fucking believe you. It's really, really hard. It doesn't make it easy for us. And when it starts to sound repetitious and it's like, oh, it's the same story again. It's like, yeah, but guess what? We're all made of the same fucking DNA. We're human beings. And until you are in this fucking environment, don't tell me how you're going to behave, because I will not let a motherfucker fuck with me any day of the week. Like, step up. But when somebody catches you off guard like that, I don't want to get emotional about it, but I think it's the fact that it's in an instant, within seconds, somebody is telling you your value, and they're telling you you're not really that valuable. Because guess what? I was never going to get a part that night. And I knew that as soon as I left. Like, when I was driving up Laurel Canyon, I knew I wasn't there because I had some value that I was going to bring to this man's movie. I was there for one thing. I was only valued for one thing. That was it. So when somebody does that to you, you will fucking freeze. No matter who you are, you will fucking freeze.
And the conversation you also brought up of, why did it take you so long, right? Yeah. I had experienced some people being like, oh, 10 years? It took you 10 years?
Yeah. Now that you have this platform, now all of a sudden you want to talk about it.
And it's like, 10 years, yes. Because like you just said, when you're driving up Laurel and you're leaving that moment, and how quickly you realize your worth and who you are, and then you're mad at yourself, it starts to almost seep into every single decision and interaction you go forward having in that industry, whether or in your relationships, whatever it seeps into. So yes, it took me that long because I had to repair what that person broke in me, and I had to find a way back, and it still fucking hurts, and I still feel uncomfortable, and I still cry about it. There's no closure, but there's a little bit of a semblance of healing. But yeah, it took 10 fucking years, and sometimes people are going to live the rest of their lives and never get to feel any bit of healing. So like, there is no timeline.
There's also the complication of, I feel when I watch your documentary how much you love playing soccer. Someone's taking something away from you that you love so much. So there's that fear on top of it, right? Like, I remember I had this constant kind of worry for myself. Like, I was like, if I don't make this work, like, the alternative is just so fucking dark. Like, I don't want to have this other life. And so that was like the added thing on top of it, was like, they're fucking with something that you really love. So it makes it even harder. It makes it more complicated. That's their power.
Yes.
That's their power over you.
That's the, why didn't you speak up? But most of these women are sitting there and like, this is my job.
Yeah.
This is what it's so complicated. So I think the takeaway for any woman listening is also just like, we see you. Yeah. There is no answer, and
we're not sitting here saying because of our experiences, you should do this. You're probably not.
And we understand.
And we need to be a community that can support each other. We can stand together.
Truly. Yeah.
And fuck those fuckers.
Fuck those pieces of fucking shit.
Fuck those fuckers.
You fucking motherfucking ass bitch. Fuck you. What have you learned? That's the beginning of your career. What have you then learned about your own strength through this crazy time in the industry that you've had?
I feel fortunate that that I think I don't mean this in like a feel sorry for me way, but I feel like I had a hard childhood. I think it set me up for an industry that's hard. I'm hoping that it can become less hard. I'm trying to be part of solving the problem. But I think it was the thing that helped me it kind of set me up in a way where I was so the fish out of water. Like, you don't understand. Like, if you look at a map, that's where I was. And this is like, it was so, I'd never been on a plane. Like, I'd never left South Africa. It was so insane to be that kind of a fish out of water. But the core of my experience as a child and being a survivor really, really helped me. It just really helped me to kind of, and this is not, I'm not prescribing this to anybody because I don't want this for my own daughters, but I could suck it up.
Though coming from a situation where you weren't really privy to the information about Hollywood, you had a really rough childhood, then you get here, like, did you ever get to a point where you felt like you could lean in and be proud of your success, or what is your relationship to success? Like, have you had like an I made it moment and you're like, this is fucking
when
great.
I got that $75,000, I was like, I'm done. I have had many moments like that because I think I always, I think what happens when you experience death at a young age, I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, it made me hyper aware of time. And I also think that growing up in South Africa, at the time that I did, when AIDS just ravaged my country in a way, it brought it to its knees. As a woman, you just couldn't help but feel like you were going to die of AIDS. Like, that's just what it was like. Like, I had this constant fear every time I had sex with somebody. I was like, I have AIDS. Like, I would go and get tested. And so I had this constant feeling of time running out. So when good shit came my way, I really I felt it. But I also felt this thing kind of chasing me, like, time's going to run out, time's going to run out, time's going to run out. Like, you got to get it all in. You got to pack it all in. You got to get it done, which is a horrible way to go through your 20s. So I have had I've had great success, and I've had a ton of great opportunities come my way. I've always said this. I really believe this. It is not just about talent. There are people out there that I know that are way surpass my talent, that will never have the opportunities that I had to showcase them. These are all things that I'm so aware of. So I try to, it's gotten better now that I'm older, for sure. Like, I can definitely sit in a moment. I don't feel like I have to make a movie every 5 seconds. I feel like I have other things that are more, that I kind of gauge my success at. It's not just work related. But I also, listen, after you win an Oscar, there's a part of you that can go, oh shit, like, what do I do now? Like, how do I, what am I stepping up to now? Like, everything is going to be shit after this. And then after you realize, like, yeah, it's probably going to be shit, you just go like, well, the fuck that then I'm just going to fucking make movies that I want to make. Like, I got an Oscar, bitch. Like, I got nothing else to prove. So let me just fucking make shit that I want to make.
So fucking
It's
nice.
great. It's very freeing.
Something I think a lot of people obviously respect you for is the way that you have transformed yourself for so many roles. Like, you've gone bald, you've gained 50 pounds, like you've gone bald sounds like
I was like, that was a shaved head, bitch.
No,
like, we don't have to go that far.
No, like, you know what you've gone bald. You know what I mean? Well, you were bald. You shaved your head.
There's a buzz and there's bald. Like,
You've gone bald. You're like,
Yeah.
I buzzed my hair.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you've really taken things to the extreme. How, when you were doing those things within your career, did it affect your confidence, or did it not?
No, I found it very freeing. I think that it's much easier for me to kind of lose myself when I'm working, to really kind of be a good actor. Like, if I look in the mirror and I see Charlize, I'm like, oh, like, this is just all feeling like, now I'm just feeling like I'm being like a fake version of myself. I don't know. There's something for me, maybe it's because I come from the world of dance. There is a real appreciation for costume and music and like this kind of vibe that you have to set to this world that you're creating. And I don't know how to work without that. Like, I am always in awe of actors who can just, Philip Seymour Hoffman, just be Philip Seymour Hoffman and be fucking amazing in every movie, but that's not who I am. Like, I really rely on finding a character from the outside in almost sometimes.
Let's talk about your dating life.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Hard pivot. Let's swerve. Okay.
So when you were bald.
So I literally was about to say, so now that you're not bald anymore. Okay. So obviously we spoke about it earlier. You've been outspoken about never wanting to probably get married.
Yeah.
And once you kind of accepted that, like, how has that impacted your dating life, knowing that you're not looking for marriage, like, with men, and how has it affected them with you?
Well, I think there's okay, let me just be clear. Marriage is a long-term commitment. And I think I want long-term commitment. I just don't need to get married. So I just want to clarify that. I will tell you in all honesty, and the work that I've done on myself, I think a lot of that also has to do with the fact that I have a tremendous fear of not being able to get out of something. And that's, again, me just understanding me, right? And, now, obviously, by California laws, after 7 years, you're in a fucking marriage, whether you walk down the aisle and sign the piece of paper, like, it's 50-50, bitch. Like, let's just be clear. So I'm like, my semantics is like crazy, but I want, if I were to find a relationship, I would think of it as something that I'm aiming for a long term. I've never been somebody that really wants to like jump from one thing to another. From the time that I was in relationships, I was in one relationship after another relationship after another relationship. And so when I earlier said I'm having sex now for the first time like I never had before, is because I'm not in relationships. And it's not because I don't want to be in relationships, but I'm seeing things for what they are, right? I'm not trying to force a circle into a square, or whatever the fucking American saying is, the peg and the hole and I can never say it right.
But that was right.
No, but when I meet somebody, I can see where it's going to go pretty quickly.
What is relationship you like versus single you?
So this is what we were talking about earlier. Like, I am ashamed of being a person in a relation, or that I used to be, I should speak. Now, I've done a lot of work, but I used to be someone in relationships that would lose herself. And again, it's that thing, you're such a fucking power bitch. Like, you're a baller. Like, why? That couldn't be you. But it goes back to how I looked at girls who were I've never really had a lot of practice in just being confident and like saying, I've always felt like I've had to like protect other people so much that codependency has just remained in my relationships. So I used to be a person that would watch herself, would also attract narcissists, men who wanted me to kind of treat them that way. And if I didn't, there was a lot of conflict, and I actually don't like conflict. Yet again, something people are always surprised. I don't like conflict, but when I feel like if I feel like I have to choose between conflict or just placating, then I will placate because I don't want the conflict.
But when you're in those type of relationships that you've lost yourself, how have you pulled yourself out?
Friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great friends. Like, and now I'm going to cry. Just great girlfriends.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think sometimes you can't see when you're in it.
At all.
And you need a friend that doesn't hit you over the head, because you won't leave until you can see it for yourself. And a good girlfriend knows that. And so they support you while you're in the darkness, because that's all you have. Like, you need that support. And I've put some girlfriends through fucking hell. So yeah, I love that the show's for women. Fucking girlfriends. You need good girlfriends.
But I think that the biggest also point that I want to highlight that you just said is like, there's a difference between being a really good girlfriend and then when someone's in a really unhealthy relationship, making them feel shame about it and being like, we can't fucking do this again. We can't.
You're an idiot.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You then pull away. And if anything, you lean more towards the person you're in the relationship with.
The dysfunction.
And we've all been there if you have one of those great friends. And I've had it with my friend where I was in a horrible situation. And then when you give them a light opening, because you're really looking for them to pull you out, and they're like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, and then they slowly pull you and then you're out, but it takes you opening even like a crack in the door.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to hear it, it's like the same thing like we were saying earlier with therapy. You can't fucking force someone to go to therapy. They're going to sit there with their, they're like, I'm not going to listen to you. They have to be ready. And the only way they're going to come to you though, as a friend, is if you've been there with them. And I know it's hard as a friend, but there's always
so hard. That's
so
the thing
hard.
I think that makes me emotional, because it's the patience. And it's so hard when someone you love so much is just constantly hitting their head on the same wall. And all you want to do is to remove them from the situation. And you know that you can't, and you have to like walk this fine line. I don't know what I did in a past life. I really do not what I did in a past life, but fuck me. I have been blessed with really, really good people in my life.
That's half the battle.
I'm a lucky bitch.
Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Neutrogena. Summer is here and the sun is shining. You need powerful sun protection that feels light on your skin. Meet Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Sunscreen. This SPF 70 lotion absorbs fast with a smooth, dry touch finish, so you'll forget you're even wearing it. It blocks 97% of burning UV rays and is water resistant for up to 80 minutes. Lightweight, effective, and perfect for sunny days. It's just what your summer needs. Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Sunscreen. You can't feel. Shop now at Target.
When you're having these like fun little new romance moments that you're in your era of not dating, but you're getting to have good sex.
Yeah.
How are we meeting these men? Are they men in the industry? Do you not want a man in the industry?
I don't. No,
You
my
don't.
God, no. I have zero interest. And again, like I say these things, you know, in a very glib way, but I don't think that dating somebody in my industry is a smart thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
It's not.
agree.
It's everything. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that is that binary. I just think that in general, it's not a good thing for me.
So how are you meeting these people? Are you on the apps? Are you out dating? Are your
I
friends?
am on the apps, but I don't use the apps. I
Love
am.
that. It's so relatable.
I have a few friends that are very, very good, and one of them I know is listening to this right now, who always is like, okay, you need to come here right now, and you need to meet this person, and I'm very grateful for her, and you know who you are. And I have not been brave enough on a lot of her offers, but recently I have, and it has paid off tremendously. And so. Yes, my dear friend Amanda out there, when she says like, you need to just, we'd be in fucking Paris, be like, you just need to fucking like come and say hi to this guy right now.
So fun.
And yeah, and then it totally pays off. And I'm like, yeah, I need to do that more often, honestly, because the apps are just horrible.
Oh, it's hard.
No, it's not hard. It's a clown show. I'm sorry, guys, but please, like, no, like I need, like, honestly, not because I want to date you, but because I want to help you. No Burning Man photos, no photos of you with other women. Like, I don't care. I don't want to know that you have girlfriends, and I don't want you shooting a fucking selfie in your closet of your hand in a jean pocket. I'm sorry. I don't want to see you looking at yourself in a mirror that way. It makes my vagina close. I just can't. And don't tell me you're a CEO, because you're not. Like, I'm sorry. Of what? Of some business you can't explain to me that none of my friends can understand? Like, no. And then, no, you don't live in this apartment no, you do not have a business. Stop. You're a fucking joke. You know, I get wet when you just tell me who you are. Like, don't be pretentious. I'm sorry.
picturing you on the fucking apps with your girlfriends over like wine one night being like, let's just open this shit up.
Well, by the way, that's how it started. I was like drunk enough to have a girlfriend be like, let's just fucking do it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And that's how I ended up on this fucking app. Listen, I could take myself off the app, but I am like secretly fucking enjoying the joke.
It's great.
It's the joke. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean.
No, it's okay.
I'm not trying to be mean. But like, I'm trying to like help. This is like, think of this as like help. As I'm a 50-ass-year-old woman telling you, don't do it. Girls don't like it. They don't fucking like it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
The hand in the jean in the closet.
Can't. I just can't. I'm sorry.
The CEO is also crazy.
Oh my
and he like
God.
works for his dad.
Yeah.
He works for his dad. Okay, how do we feel about sex on the first date?
Well, so I like, what do you consider a date?
Oh, are you going on dates?
Yeah, but I feel like when you like, there's certain circumstances where you meet somebody at a party and you have sex and then that's it. You know, that's what it is. You're not thinking you're going to marry this person.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Are you down for a one night stand?
Yes. I don't have many of them. I'm sitting here sounding like I do. So when I do, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. I should have done this in my 20s. I was married from the time that I was like having sex to the time that I had my last relationship. Then I had children. Who has fucking time for dates and shaving and waxing and makeup? And like, I've got 2 children that have to go to school. Then I got it. Like, this shit's on a time. Like, do you need me to send you a call time?
I'm obsessed.
And it's this, you got 2 hours. Like, what's happening? Because like, I need to know.
Wait, do you have any sex tip for the girls?
Sex tip? Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, how to have good sex? How to what? Have an orgasm?
Anything that like you think of girls could just like, you're hot, you're having good sex.
Okay, you're like, I almost choked. I am the last person to ask. I'm like sounding very cocky here, but I think it's because I have found this freedom in my 40s where I'm like, oh my God. So I just want to say this in perspective. I've probably had 3 one-night stands in my entire life.
Okay.
But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old and it was really fucking amazing.
Fuck yes.
Yes. And I've never done that. And I was like, oh, this is great. Okay.
Let me just say that 26-year-old is the luckiest fucking man walking on this goddamn planet. He's walking different today, knowing, oh my God.
He for sure is not, but thank you.
No, he is. He is.
I will just say this. Like, I wish that this goes back to, I think this is kind of like a thread throughout our conversation. Women who come across as confident, women who come across as like outspoken, ones that wouldn't speak up for themselves, tend to also be in bed people who want to please males. Like, and I have found this in my experiences with talking to other women about this. Isn't it strange? Like, we should be the ones that are like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to have an orgasm. And yet my whole life was so concerned about
Same.
The same?
Same.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So my advice would be this. Don't fucking do that. For 2 reasons. You're going to have better orgasms. And guess what? Your man's going to like that.
They're going to have such a better time too.
Yes.
It's so true. It's really hard. I think back to my 20s and in college, like I was so thinking I was doing the right thing. And when you get the feedback of how great it was, and then you're walking away feeling great, but then you're also like, I don't know if I've even had an orgasm in my life before. Like, this is kind of, is this what it's supposed to do and be and what? And then the minute, and it takes reps. Like sometimes it just takes you like getting, because no man is like, unless he's the most amazing man in the world, which go find him, but no.
Not going to happen.
It's all of these men, it's about them. And they're not actually being like, I know it takes you longer than my fucking dick just getting off in 2 seconds. So it's like, it's a process to you advocating for yourself in the bedroom, being like,
yes,
hold on, and actually then speaking up. But it takes time. But I agree, once you hit that part of your life where it's not just like, oh, I'll just like do it and then like he'll get off and like I'm like faking it, your life changes.
And practice helps. You just have to practice and then you'll figure it out. Yeah.
That's good advice, see?
Yeah. In the safe way, please.
Okay, yeah, please.
In a
Please,
safe
for the love
way,
of God.
please.
Okay, what is the biggest dating disaster you've ever had?
Oh my God. I had a guy once ask me to make out with his nose,
What?
which was really, really probably one of the most bizarre asks ever. Yes, in a very like he was getting off on it. That
What?
was really gross. I would say aside from that, nobody's ever asked me to do something that I was like, whoa, that's really fucking weird. Like, I guess I like weird shit. Like, I'm not like thrown by weird shit. Like the nose thing was the weirdest thing.
That'll do it.
Yeah, but I'm not like thrown easily. So that's why I think I'm kind of like, I'm like, oh, that sounds, well, let's see what happens.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to play a game.
I'm having the best
Okay,
time.
you are?
We are crying and we are laughing and we are.
I'm never going to get over
choking.
the bald comment. Like that. Jail for me. Okay. All right. I'm going to go through some dating scenarios and I want your opinion. Are you in or are you out?
Wow. Okay.
Okay. He tells you he loves you after 1 month.
That's usually what I would do.
Charlize!
That's like a Charlize move. Oh my God. This is like a constant joke between me and my friends. This is how unhealthy I am. Like, I just will tell you I love you in a heartbeat. Like, I've never understood this conversation. Like, have you ever been in love? I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in love all the time. Like, I while I'm fucking you, I'll tell you I love you. Like, and for a long time, I was like, this is not healthy. And then I just went, this is who I am. Like, honestly, like, I'm not going to beat myself up over this anymore. So I'm going to say that's okay. I don't know if I want to hear it from a guy, though.
Fair. So fair.
I feel like, again, it's like the photo, the selfie. Like, no.
Like, calm down.
Yeah. Let me be the one that's like, I think I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make me chase you just a little bit.
Yeah.
God, don't be
Can you believe it? I'm in love with you.
Then you're literally at home being like, oh my God, I can't believe he believes that. Anyways.
But maybe I am.
How quickly do you actually think you know if you're in love with someone?
In all seriousness, I feel like I have the ability to go there pretty easily. For someone who's as like, have been so, I think maybe it is because I've been so protective of my life and have to protect so many things in my life that there is, and it's maybe why acting feels safe to me. I have the ability to kind of like go into that kind of like reckless, vulnerable place.
It's beautiful.
Easily. Yes.
Have you ever had a guy tell you that he loved you and you were not on the same page?
Yes. Yes.
It's tough.
Yes.
And do you just let them down easy or?
I am going to be honest with you. I'm not good at letting people off the hook easily.
Do you say it back?
No, I don't say it back, but I don't know how to, like, I will pretend and then I'll probably ghost. Like, I know it's really terrible and I have to work on that.
I love it.
But after that, I just don't know, like, it's part of me is like, I don't know. It's a lot of time to get into like the softness of all of this. And sometimes I just think it's easier to just be like, let's just
not.
Yeah.
Let's not. Because I don't love you.
Yeah.
And it's easy for me to tell people I love them. So if I can't say it back, you're really a fucking loser.
There's a big problem here. Like, it's not going to happen.
Holy shit. Okay. You caught him going through your phone.
No, I don't like stuff like that.
Have you ever caught someone?
Listen, when most of my dating and serious relationships happened, there were no iPhone.
She's like, no iPhone gang over here.
Yeah, we didn't have that problem.
problem.
We didn't have, I mean, like, isn't
Love.
that? Yeah, but I don't like stuff like that. Even with my kids, like my kids find it really hard that I'm like, I don't want to go through your phone. I want to be able to trust you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Yes.
How did you find out?
I found out after, not while I was in the relationship, but I always felt it. Like, again, it's that little voice. Yeah, but it wasn't worse for me because part of me was like, that wasn't the reason why I broke up with the person. And also, I don't think it was constant all the way through. I think it was like towards the end, or it was like somebody thought like a blowjob wasn't cheating, like shit like that, But
classic them not thinking of blowjobs cheating. Just the
Yeah,
classic white stuff of men. Like, that doesn't count. Oh yeah, no, you getting your dick sucked did not count. For sure.
No, not at all.
Totally
Yes,
fine.
100%.
Did you ever confront him about it or no? You just let it go?
No, because most of the time I found out afterwards.
Yep.
And then by then I was like, I like couldn't give two fucks.
Okay, he hates cursing and asks you to stop saying fuck.
Impossible. Absolutely. If I can't do that in front of my children, do you really think I'm going to do that for you? Go fuck yourself. And I don't even love you here. Like, this is like before I've even told you I love you. So
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay, what is something you'll never compromise on in a relationship?
Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've talked about it. I will not lose myself. I will not make myself smaller, and I will not do things that are not authentically. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be selfish, but I will not make myself somebody that I'm not for you to feel better about being in a relationship with me.
I fucking love it.
Oh, thanks.
No, because it's like you being aware that that's your one thing. We all have that, right?
Yeah.
Like I had that for so long where it was like everyone knows that one thing that you're like, okay, this next time I've got to stand my ground and I can't let myself do X, Y, or Z. And I think that it's for me, mine was like, I really loved the games. Like I was like addicted to like the push and the pull and the put. And
the
I'm
drama.
like,
You wanted the drama.
And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And like I want to feel safe. So why am I doing this? And finally,
Why?
We're still working on that. I still don't fully know why.
Do
I
you
was
still
doing
do
that.
it? Or,
No.
Okay.
I am so happy.
You're aware of it now.
Matt was the first person that literally, it was like like a month or so in, and he was like, I don't know what you're doing, but I have literally no interest in it. So let me know if you want to continue or I'm done. And I was literally like,
wow.
I'm in love with you.
But you obviously didn't stop it straight away.
No,
like,
it was a concerted effort for me to recognize like I had become used to a pattern.
Yeah.
And it became familiar to me. And then you jump right into it, into the next thing. And a lot of it made me feel like if we fight, then when we come back together, we feel closer. And it was a bad cycle I got into. And then Matt was the first person that I broke that cycle for. And it was like I made such different life decisions with him that I was like, wow, I must really love you that I'm trying this hard to like not
That's
be.
amazing.
Yeah. So,
That's
we all have our thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you told him right there you loved him. That was it.
Then I was like, let me take my pants off, fuck me, and I love you all in one night. Let's go. Woo!
No games.
He's like,
here.
this bitch is crazy.
You're like, you want no games?
No, literally, let's go.
Yeah.
But actually, that is
We're getting
something
married.
No, tonight. Let's go to Vegas. He's like, you're insane.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your new movie, The Old Guard 2.
Yeah.
What does it feel like playing this character again? Like, is it exciting to get to do something a second time?
Yes, it's challenging, but also yes, it's exciting because I've been wanting to do television for a while, or like a limited series, because I've never experienced having several hours to kind of build arc and explore a character. And so like my 20s, it's always felt like pack it in 2 hours or under 2. And so this was nice because it gave me an opportunity to kind of like go and revisit a character that I had played before, and I'd never done that before. But it also makes it challenging because then you're like, well, what do I want to go and explore? Like what are the themes that or the behaviors that I didn't feel like I fully fleshed out on the first one. So then it becomes complicated in that sense, but good complicated.
Okay, you're hanging out of a helicopter in the movie.
Yeah.
How do you even train for something like that?
You don't. There's no training for that. I wanted to do something. I don't like risk. I like challenging myself, but I'm actually not like like I have kids. And even prior to that, I'm not like someone who's like, I don't give a fuck. Let's just jump off this roof and see what happens in the water. And I'm not one of those people, but I do like the challenge of being a producer and being able to have some power over talking about that developmental part of what is the narrative and the action, because that's where you can start to challenge yourself a little bit. And if you're making these movies, you should be asking those questions.
Right. What is the most insane stunt that you've ever done in your career?
Well, that would probably be one of them.
Yeah.
But if you hear the story behind it, it's not as crazy. It looks insane. That's why we did it. But it was explained to me by this incredible man, Fred North, who is like the guru of all helicopter stuff and movies. It's completely, he's like, this is really safe. No one's ever really done this, and you can do this completely practical. And that's really what I was looking for, was to do something that we didn't have to go on a stage and fake, and, you know, that I could have some cred and have a behind the scenes video that looked really fucking badass. And I could be like, yeah, and that's me right there. But yeah, so that's probably the craziest things. But I've done hard. I mean, I just had elbow surgery 4 weeks ago. I did this movie in Australia. I just wrapped it like a couple of months ago. I play like a professional rock climber, like a free soloist, kind of like rock climber. And I worked with a mad director from like Iceland who just like was like, you have to climb the mountain. And I was like, holy fuck, like he's gonna actually make me climb this fucking mountain. He's like, for the next 3 weeks, we are only shooting this mountain and you are climbing this mountain. And I fucking climbed that mountain barefoot, like no shoes. Like it was insane. I look at the footage now, like I go back to the dailies and I go, what the fuck? But it's amazing. It's like you're in it and you just kind of go like, wow, it feels good to feel this strong that I can do this.
Picturing you barefoot climbing up and just being like,
yeah, and they were making these silicone feet for me to protect my feet and stuff. And I was like, I'm from Africa. Okay. I didn't have shoes until I was 13. Like I climbed trees. I don't have, and I was a dancer. I have no fucking feeling in my feet. Okay.
Put me in.
Yes, I'm gonna be fine, you guys.
She's perfect for this role.
Yeah.
Thank God we got her here. Holy shit, this is amazing.
At the end, this madman of a director who's fucking brilliant, and I love him. He never gave me one compliment. It was like my dad relationship all over again. I was trying to please this motherfucker every single day. I'd like be on the top of the mountain. I'd be like, my elbow, I couldn't feel. My fucking toe was broken. My ribs were, and he'd be like walking away. And I'd be like, what did he think? He's like, oh, he went home. And at the end of the film, he like pulled me and he was like, you were fucking amazing. And I was like, all right, I deserve that.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got the approval.
Yeah.
Thank God. Did your daughters go to the premiere last night?
They did. My youngest likes to kind of like just ride along with me. The movie isn't right for her. She's too young. There's too much violence in it. But she walked with me because she knew I was going to go home afterwards. So she just walked. She didn't just waited for me, and I said a little thank you in the theater, and then we went home. And I was like, she was like, why don't we watch? I said, no, I'm so tired. Like, we're going to go home. We're going to have a girls' night and we're going to have ice cream. And we got like the ice cream out of the freezer and I had like a half a pound of ice cream. And then I fell asleep like an old man, literally. Like, she was like, really? This is our date? Like,
this is your premiere night?
Yeah.
I wish that was the headline. Like, you're in this gorgeous outfit and then you get home. Little does everyone know, you're like, I'm on the couch with my ice cream.
Like, I was shoving having a Haagen-Dazs and I was like, I should walk this down to the freezer because it's going to melt. And I was like, fuck that. Nope. I'm rich. It's fine. It's a half a pound of fucking Haagen-Dazs. Like, what am I worried about?
So good. Do your daughters understand like who you are and what you do fully?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. You know, I feel like maybe. I think that they're also they've been around it. I've most of the movies that I've made since they've been around have been during the summer because I don't want to leave them. So they've been on every set that I've worked on from the time that they've been in my life. So they know that is mom's job. They obviously don't, you know, they don't watch the kind of movies that I make. So in their eyes, I'm like some dinosaur, right? And so like every once in a while when I work with somebody, they're like, wait, you know her? Like, oh, Renee Rapp's coming on Saturday? Or like, what? Like every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers. Like,
I'm cool.
Yeah. So I was just driving here and my oldest daughter, who's a real bitch, like she does not make it easy on me one bit. Like she does not suffer fools easily. She has never given me a compliment in my fucking life. I was driving here. She was at a sleepover and I called her to tell her that, you know, her sister was coming home and she goes, oh, I really liked what you wore last night. I almost fell off my chair. The phone fell out of I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, be cool, be cool, be cool.
You're like, thanks.
Yeah. So they play with my emotions, I think.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are such an incredible mother. You're a great daughter, and you've had such an incredible career, and you will continue to have such an incredible career. And like, this is why I love my job, is getting to meet you. I had no idea what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know
this fucking woman that can't keep a man.
this,
like
no,
this nutty bitch. Like, let's see how this.
Bald.
Now I understand.
But I didn't know, you know. And I think not that it was bad or good. I was just like, oh, I'm excited to meet you.
Yeah.
And in getting to speak with you, it's so inspiring hearing what you've done with your career, what you've done with your family. I think it's such a testament to women, and it's really, I hope, a message to women of like, you really can create your own path.
Yeah.
Your past doesn't define you, but be aware of your childhood and any trauma you've had. And you've done such an incredible job, like making your own version of what you want your life to be, which is so inspiring for women to hear.
Yeah. And I'm still trying.
Of course.
Still figuring it out.
Of course.
Yeah. But we should definitely try, for sure. Life is too short.
As you enter this next gorgeous decade of your life, what are you the most excited for?
Okay. So everyone's like talking about the celebration. You're the first person that's ever asked me, like, what is this next chapter in my life, right? I think outside of what I touched upon, which is that I do think about, like, because it's very real. My oldest is about to be 14. Like, I will be an empty nester soon. I think about that a lot because I love my fucking kids so much that they can never know, because I can't imagine my life without them. And the idea of them not being in my fucking house, like, scares me enough to be like, who is this sad man that I am going to fucking catch in 6 years and be like, you can have my whole closet. Just don't let me be alone in this house.
So real.
Aside from thinking about that, I don't know, because work feels really satisfying. I really feel so blessed and so lucky that I get to do something every single day that I love. It doesn't feel like work. And I'm glad that I get to show my kids what that looks like. To find something that you love, that if you're going to have a life where you don't feel like you're working, but you are working hard, that's a very rewarding life. And not all of us get to have that. So if I can continue that, and make sure that my kids are okay, like, that's going to be okay for me. I'm going to be okay.
This is good to know. So whenever we see you pop up with a man, we're like, oh, the kids moved out. That's literally our barometer.
Oh, she must be 18.
Oh, shit. Shit. She's miserable because the kids are gone. This is just the fucker that happened to be at the coffee shop earlier that day that she's like, you're moving in with me, motherfucker. And he's like, shit, I get to be with Charlize Theron.
My secret's out. I just fucked myself. Yeah. Well, there goes my vagina's joy. Like, that's not happening anymore. Thank you, dude, Alex. Really great.
No,
I will tell this man I love him before I know his name. I will hook him so fast.
And you'll hook him up. Good closet, nice life. We're doing it right. We're doing it right.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming on. This was truly a pleasure. You're such a good hang. And it felt like I forgot there were cameras. Like, it just felt like we were having really nice girl talk.
I was looking forward to this because it's nice to know you. Like, I feel, not in a weird way, I'm not going to tell you I love you.
Come on.
It's nice to know a little bit about you. And I'm a huge fan, by the way.
Well, I'm a huge fan too. So look at us. Woo!